Psalm 4, verses 2 through 5 says, "When I called, the God of my righteousness heard me. In tribulation you made room for me. Have mercy upon me and hearken to my prayer. Sons of men, how long are you slow of heart? Why do you love wantonly and seek a lie? Know that the Lord magnifies the Holy One. The Lord will hear me when I have cried out to him. Be angry and sin not, for what you say in your heart. Let your conscience be pained upon your beds." If you're joining us in reading through this 6-month reading plan, today's reading is Psalm 4, and I encourage you to read that passage. Well, today I've done something a little bit different. Instead of reading from the New American Standard, the verses above are from a Bible or an Old Testament called the Septuagint. The Septuagint is a Greek translation of the Old Testament Hebrew, and it was completed about 220 BC. And the reason I've chosen it today is because it is more descriptive of David's intent than our standard English Bibles are. Well, verse 2 and 4 is David's prayer to God and its result. Notice that David calls God the God of my righteousness. David is seeking God through a repentant heart, and because of that repentance, David is shown to be righteous. Verse 5 is an admonition to us concerning our thought life. He first tells us to be angry and yet not sin. This is very interesting because generally we view anger as a sin. So how is it that we can be angry and yet not sin? Well, that all depends on why or what reason you become angry. If we become angry because of a personal goal is blocked, then that is sinful. Our personal goals, our desires, come from what we believe is important. But when we become angry because it is God's desires that are being blocked, we can be righteously angry. And this is a different type of anger. If we become angry with a person, generally that's sinful. But if we are angry with an action, that is different. Actions are a result of poor thinking. It is the action with which we are angry, not the person. We are not to judge others in the sense of convicting them of sin. That's God's job. But we are to become angry at the actions that they take. Now, I become angry when a child is intentionally hurt. I want to stop the person from hurting the child, but more importantly, I want to protect that which is a gift of God. My anger is that they're hurting someone who is God's image or is in God's image. My action is to stop their action. Now, I can become angry when something denigrates God. Again, I'm angry at the action. I recognize that this person is a sinner just like I am, but I also recognize that he or she does not have to do this action, and therefore it can be corrected. Now, finally, David ends with talking about your thought life. If you're angry before you go to bed, your sleep will be disturbed. And if you have sinned and not confessed and repented from that sin, your sleep will be disturbed. But if you're clean through repentance, your sleep will be rejuvenating.